For years, a favorite of New York's Museum of Art and Design, Saks Fifth Avenue, Anthropology, and the Neiman Marcus catalog, Diane Katzman's wearable art has been featured in top fashion publications including Elle, In Style, and Modern Bride, and On The View and One Life to Live. I think it was canceled, wasn't it? One of my faves growing up. In addition, her line has graced the runway collections of Calvin Klein, Kenneth Cole, Mazzani, and Escada. But she's most proud of her nonprofit design work. Her jewelry and accessories have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for nonprofits, including the American Heart Association, Teach for America, Goodwill, and Susan G. Koman for the Cure. A breast cancer survivor and advocate for early detection, Diane served as honorary chair of Missouri Baptist Hospital's 2009 campaign that raised over $575,000 for a digital mammography van. In 2010, Diane's Birch Day and mammogram programs raised an additional $50,000 for uninsured women to receive mammograms and biopsies in rural Missouri. She is being recognized this year as a 2011 Women of Achievement recipient, which has annually recognized women with exceptional records in leadership and volunteer service. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce a brilliant lady and someone I am lucky enough to call a friend, Diane Katzman.
Please don't call me a survivor. It makes me think about Richard Hatch, the pseudo-celebrity, who wasn't voted off CBS Island 11 years ago. And yet, I've been introduced over and over again as Diane Katzman with the tagline, "She's a survivor." It gives me a credential that's in a class by itself. Even some of my friends who are MDs and PhDs put me on a pedestal for being a survivor. It's great for motivational speaking and damn good for business. The reason I was asked to stand before you today is because I'm a survivor. But I absolutely hate the term. A survivor is someone who remains. And why is that such a great feat? Calling us survivors doesn't do justice to who we are. It connotes passivity rather than strength. It's like water washing over us. Why recognize a woman who has made it through a disease? Instead, why not honor women who transform society by the fight, regardless of whether or not we've had cancer? We're all in this together, whether we work for an organization that teaches breast health or provides biopsies for women in need or raises money to prevent breast cancer from returning. We are not mere survivors. We've transcended adversity through focus, energy, determination, teamwork, and vision. We are warriors. So that's what I'd like to focus on today, my personal story and why everyone in this room should be renamed a warrior. It all started 4 years ago in Destin, Florida. I was on spring break with my husband, David, and 3 teenage daughters. David ran to the gym, and I lingered in bed. What a treat to be on vacation and be able to sleep in. I was relaxed, feeling mellow, and decided to do my monthly breast self-exam. And there it was. I found a lump in my right breast that was not there the previous month or during my mammogram 5 months earlier. It was the beginning of our vacation, and I didn't want to mess things up. so I kept my mouth closed. But a few days later, I casually asked David to feel my right breast. "Oh, it's probably nothing," he said. "You should check it out when we get home." Later, I found out what he was really thinking was, "I don't like the feel of that lump." So the day we got back to St. Louis, David suggested I call Missouri Baptist Hospital for a mammogram, and that was top of mind for me too. Fortunately, they saw me that morning. I changed into the pink oversized gown with the 3 ties in the back and was guided to the room. From there, it was hyperspeed. The tech didn't like what she saw. She arranged for an ultrasound and a biopsy, and we had the results the next day, stage 2 breast cancer. All I could say was, "Quick, get it out of me." And that's what they did. 4 days later, surgeon Deanne Radford performed a lumpectomy. It was Good Friday, or as this nice Jewish girl likes to say, Great Friday, and I was cancer-free. But that was just the beginning. Now we had to focus on keeping the cancer away. Enter doctors Alan Liss and Umberto Fagundes, also known as chemotherapy and radiation. It was no walk in the park. I was sick. I was scared, but like most of you, after walking over fire and coming out on the other side, time and tamoxifen are great for perspective. So today, I'm here to tell you what I've learned about being a warrior. Rule number 1, warriors take initiative. Once upon a time, this mop of hair used to be my identity. Today, it's a mere accessory. Losing hair is such a visual cue that you're sick. Samson lost his hair and his power. Likewise, I was worried that without my hair, I would look feeble and weak. But it took cancer for me to learn that it's not how bold you are, but how bold you are that makes you a warrior. I knew my hair was going to fall out, but rather than let it leave me, I decided to have a warrior ceremony and take my hair. And so I invited the women in my life, my 3 daughters, mom, mother-in-law, 2 sister-in-laws, and my rabbi, and of course my husband David, for a hair-cutting ceremony. The late afternoon sun was seeping through my living room windows, and we gathered together in a circle. Each member of my tribe took a turn cutting a lock of hair. Then Rabbi Talby took out holy water, and everyone had a turn sprinkling it over a part of my body and saying a blessing for me. David sprinkled it over my heart, while Becca, my very sensible middle child, splattered it over my breast. The cerebral Caroline rubbed it over my bald head, and Julia, my baby, poured water into my healing hands. Then we celebrated with a special tonic and cure-all, cherry Coke Slurpees. Courtesy of my 3 daughters. I've never felt so filled with love in my life as the afternoon that we took my hair. Being bald was so liberating. I could get up and out without worrying about shampooing and shaving and fussing. And during the year with no hair, I made so many friends. Strangers would stop and tell me inspiring stories of strength and perseverance. I became a magnet, attracting powerful energy, good wishes, insight, and prayer. I felt the opposite of a sickly, weak woman, feeling that people were drawn to me as a source of radiance and strength. Which brings me to rule number 2. Warriors need help. And I was not used to getting help. I was taught to help those less fortunate, volunteer, and write checks. And then I got a call from the Temple Mitzvah Corps, a group of wonderful volunteers who bring chicken soup and meals to those in need. No Mitzvah Corps, I told my family. I do not need help. But was I ever wrong? You can't live on an island, said my cousin Hillary. People want to help you, and you need to teach your kids what it's like to receive help. What I never imagined was what Hillary and the Mitzvah Corps would teach me. I basked in the brisket, got strong with the soup, and truly appreciated the care, cakes, and comforts that friends and strangers provided for my family and me. I made new friends, slowed down, and enjoyed the old ones too. I was so pampered and I felt so loved. Also, I didn't have to worry about my family's needs. As a matter of fact, they had never eaten so well. Plus, I was able to focus on healing. By swimming off of my island, I discovered a community, a tribe of warriors that nursed me back to health.